I was on a train in Istanbul 2 years ago, and somebody stopped and said, "Oh, but where are you from? Strange language you're speaking." So we said, "Oh, we're from South Africa." And it was as if the whole train just went quiet. And the people looked at us and said, "Are you serious? Isn't it very dangerous there? Especially for you." And they're looking at Christelle.
The F.O.C.C. A different direction to a short future.
Well, hello there. Safety and security in South Africa. That is a thorny issue. I will keep it as light as possible because it's actually a very, very, very serious subject. Let's start on a lighter note. I was on a train in Istanbul 2 years ago, and somebody stopped and said, "Oh, but where are you from? Strange language you're speaking." So we said, "Oh, we're from South Africa." And it was as if the whole train just went quiet. And the people looked at us and said, "Are you serious? Isn't it very dangerous there? Especially for you." And they're looking at Christelle. And we were caught by surprise and said, "No." But then realizing we're in a country where there's very little crime, people there think that we're living in a war zone. Yes, we actually are living in a war zone. We've got serious problems. We've got police that's totally understaffed. We've got police that's corrupt. And we've got a system that is corrupt. So what are we going to do about it? What plans do we have that we can offer? Well, the F.O.C.C. feels very strong that we should have a federation, a federal state. So that makes a lot of things very different when it comes to services like police services. And it is a good with a good. So the moment you go over to a federation, you'll have to have a national police, a federal police force. Something like the FBI in America. So the best thing to do is actually to take the current police force, shake it up a bit, do all the anti-corruption stuff, but use those officers for national policing and take them away from local police matters and local policing and petty crime and small things. And that will immediately solve the manpower issues that we have at the moment. And then we should look at what we're going to do in the states or locally. So local policing, we do have some local policing at the moment. So we do have trained officers at the moment. What we intend to do or we intend to look at is combining those forces. It sounds very strange. It's the exact opposite that everybody's expecting. But if you think practically, we should have an officer patrolling that focuses on one area. So he can be not a traffic officer, but his duty for the day would be looking at traffic offences. But if he sees you damaging property, he can also act and enforce the law about that. We'll have to cross-train, and immediately we'll have a more responsive police presence in the police force. Then we must seriously look at private policing. At the moment, we've got security companies that do a lot of work to keep our communities safe. They get paid by the communities, and many of them go way beyond their duties or what they are paid for at the moment. So we've got two security companies patrolling our area. They patrol and they're not actually paid for it, and they keep the community safe in that way. we feel that those officers should get way more power and way more supervision. The supervision they probably won't like that much, but we should have that. I think standardizing cars, giving them blue lights, giving them the privileges that the blue lights actually also giving them the right to arrest. There's a list of things that you can actually empower these people with. That takes the burden off the state to a large extent, and they're pretty effective. They've proven themselves to be pretty effective. Then there's another thing that we should really look at. Local policing. If I say local policing, it is municipal policing. At the moment, is a 9-to-5 job in most municipalities, even in the city of Cape Town. Yes, you can get certain services after hours. If they work after hours, they get overtime. If there's no overtime, there's no service. And I think any community in the Cape Town area should know this by now. You just simply cannot get these people out after hours. There's just no way. The only way they come out is if they've got a roadblock or something like that. But to get actual service, they don't come out after hours. Any police service should be a 24-hour thing. 24 hours. You work shifts. If you don't want to do that, go do something else. There's no option. There's no option whatsoever. Then just lastly, if a new government takes over, we should have these plans in place. And one of the plans that we'll never see under the current government or any party that takes over an area under the current system is corrective measures for a corrupt police force. A few ideas. One of this is double sentences. I know many years ago, if you were a policeman, you got punished much harder because you were supposed to be an example to the community, and you must have the trust of the community, and if a policeman is caught doing something wrong, his sentence was much harder. So we're talking double sentences. So you go through the court process, you get sentenced like a civilian, but then your sentence gets doubled. So if you would have gotten 5 years, you get 10 years. Taking a bribe. Taking a bribe is such a common thing in Africa. It's almost part of the culture at the moment, and there's just no place for it. So taking a bribe, 20 years. I would say 20 years. I promise you, 10% of people will always be criminals. That is statistically the case. So we must get rid of that 10%. We must have them in the jails. Then the other 80%, they can swing. But they should be discouraged by such a heavy sentence. Taking a bribe is what is bringing our country down, what is breaking our police, what is breaking our security. So if you get caught taking a bribe, you're going to go to jail for 20 years. And I think most citizens will gladly pay your residence there. Our plans are there for when we can change from the current government. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Storms at night are called to break the mold. The F.O.C.C ignites a spark, a story yet untold.